Hello, everyone. Okay, I want to show you guys some wisdom from numerology. At least we will see how this works out. I saw something that said that Tia Mowry was spinning the block with her husband, Corey, her ex-husband, Corey. So, of course, I said, well, let me look at their chart because the last couple that was spinning the block was J-Lo and Ben Affleck. And I told you guys that wasn't going to work. That was a temporary thing. And lo and behold, they did get a divorce. So let's look at Tia and Corey. And I have pulled up their chart in front of me. And so I'm looking at two different screens. And here's the big thing. So when it comes to Tia's attitude is a 13-4, which is a karmic number. Corey's attitude is an 11-2, which is also a karmic number. One side is a karmic of lessons, another side is a karmic of hard work. So Tia has the work ethic, the hard work, right? And Corey has this here to evolve and teach lessons. I would not be surprised if he was really into some type of spiritual pursuits. I have to have a disclaimer that I don't know a lot about this guy other than the fact that he was married to her and apparently he was a child actor. But again, I don't know as much about him. But let's look at their years because when people get divorced and get back together or break up and get back together, when I look in their charts, there's something striking in the year that brings them back together. Sometimes it's the same thing that kept them together to start with. And I have to say, their marriage compatibility was really, really high, which isn't surprising that they got married. And this is just the numerology. This is not the astrology chart. That's a totally different thing. But currently, 2025 is a 4 year for her, and 2025 is a 2 year for him. The 2 year is all about relationships and partnerships and being together. February is a 4 month for him, it is a 6 month for her. So she has the 4 year, which is about building something together, laying foundations. He has that same four energy in his month. And then she has the six in her month, which is about relationships and family. And so she may be feeling kind of nostalgic in this time of, hey, when I was with him, we had a good foundation, we had things kind of going in a great direction. So it's really considered a compatible time for them, right? So this year would be great for them in essence of getting along with each other, just in those terms. So then you move to 2026. 2026 becomes a 5 year for her and it becomes a 3 year for him. So those numbers aren't necessarily compatible, but they have a little running thing because if you move to 2027, that's a 6 year for her and a 4 year for him. So they have a difference of two in most of their years. As a matter of fact, as I look through their chart going down all the way down, let's look at 2030. It's a 7 for him and 2030 is a 9 for her. So again, they have that too. And the two means that a person really wants to form some type of union. A person really wants to work with someone together in a loving environment. A two is a really good person for being in a relationship with in the sense of the energy. This does not indicate whether or not a person is a cheater or whatever. It just indicates that that energy requires two people to work together. And they have that difference in their chart. And it's not a big difference to make up for versus if someone has a 9 difference or an 8 difference, there's a lot of things they have to work through together. So if the two of them were to decide that, okay, we can work on having our union be something kind of stable in our partnership and work on getting back to our spirituality pieces of things, then they could, in fact, work this marriage out and get back together for the long haul, not just for like a little bit of time, which is what happened with JLo and Ben. They actually have the potential to be with each other. So let's look at something else. Their birthday, 6 is for her 9 is for him. Those are natural numbers that work together, whether to get together well. He has a life path of 1, she has a life path of 2. He's a leader, she's a follower. In relationships, right? Meaning that she wants to be with someone and he wants to have someone be with him, and that it partnership works. So bam, bam, 2 things. They have 3 things so far going well for them when it comes to lasting relationships, in my view of things. They both have a karmic debt of 16, which is so ironic. It's interesting because 16 karmic debt brings about a spiritual learning, a lesson of the self, and it also is associated with people who struggle in relationships and they have to overcome that during this lifetime. She also has the 14-5, which is a creative karmic debt in her chart, which is something I would have to get into a little bit later. So let's look at, he has a lot. Oh God, he has a karmic lessons of 5, which means he might have some tendencies to be a cheater in this lifetime. He has the 5 also showing up again in his chart. So he may have some infidelity issues that he's working out. I don't know why they got divorced beforehand. I don't know all of that. But in his chart, he does have the potential to not be a faithful person. Although his desire is to be married and couple up with a person, he tends to have a little wandering kind of thing within him. Maybe have some gambling problems, some type of addictions like that. Okay, for her maturity, she's growing into her spirituality. Maturity, he's growing into his financial, so he's going into power of wanting to be financially stable. I would look forward to, for you guys, I would expect to see him start doing more roles or directing, producing, whatever he does to make money. I would expect for him to have more financial success in this later half of his life than he had in the earlier part of his life, just because that's in his chart. So let's see, anything else for them? Let's go down. What else do I see? And I use these apps to pull the data just so I can see the numbers. Um, and I'm working on creating my own app, but what they say doesn't necessarily line up with what I see in the numbers. I just do numerology differently from some of these generic apps. So that's why I don't show you what they say, because what I see doesn't necessarily line up with them. And I'm always right. I'm more right than they are, which is like crazy, but it is what it is. So challenges within her life, the last half of her life, she has 0 challenges, which is so interesting because she should be in her 3rd section of challenges, which is 0, which means she really is carte blanche. She can do whatever she wants. But Cory has the number 6, which is about home and family and relationships and stability in the home and family. And he has that in this current period and his next period. That's throughout the rest of his life. He's going to be struggling with having a stable foundation. His infidelity or his desire to not necessarily be committed with one person might come up to play at some point. His focus on money might come up as being an issue, but they still could work together and actually make their relationship work. Spiritually, they both believe the same way. And a lot of times that makes people stay together. Because he's in this last section of being in this whole little 6 energy, that could be the struggle with him. He has a real desire right now to just have his family be as one. And if he can get the other stuff under control, that could happen for him. Let's see. Anything else? With the 2 of them. Wow, they have the exact same sexual life, which means they are compatible when it comes to the sexual energy. So, what all of this means is that I would think that this spinning the block, if indeed they are spinning the block, would come to them, would end with them coming to a decision that it's better for them to be together than not be together. So that's my prediction. Save it. Let's see how it works out. All right, y'all take it easy. And I really like doing these for you guys because when with the celebrities, it's easier to see things for them because I have all of their data and then their life kind of plays out in the public so you can see if it was right or not. Because when I did that one on Jennifer and Ben, everybody was like, oh no, they finally found their way back together. And I was like, no, they're just in a compatible period. But they had more incompatible periods. And because of that, they just weren't going to make it. You know, you can't be like, I'm good for 1 year, but I'm bad for 5 years. Oh, not good. Now, Cory and Tia, they do, even though they have the 2 degrees of separation, they have some years where it's going to be a struggle. But if they keep the focus on their partnership, they could make it. And see, if they were working with me, if I was counseling them, I would tell them, okay, this year you need to do this in order for you to make it through this year because it's not going to be as easy for you. And then you roll around and have the next couple of years be really good, which is really what you need to pay attention to when you're in a relationship. If you plan on staying with someone for a long period of time, you have to look at how much of this energy can I take, right? I can do anything for a little bit of time, but I can't do it if it's going to be like this all the time. So, all right, you guys, let me know your thoughts. Bye.